Good evening, race fans. Welcome to the Core Racing League. Tonight we are in Long Beach. We are on the street circuits here in California for the IndyCar Series. First road course for these guys, second race of the season. Seen a pretty good one at Texas start off the season. Bunch of guys having a chance to lead laps. Some green flag runs, some big incidents as well. So you're probably going to see some of the same here as well. You're going to see some of the guys that are your fast guys be out there out front and possibly checking out from the field, but danger looms around every corner no matter how fast you are or how slow you are. This track will easily eat you up and spit you out. Joining me in the booth, as always, Jimmy Covert. And Jimmy, I know you've been watching these guys and you've seen a bunch of incidents out there. Is it just going to be the person that kind of keeps the cleanest, maybe not necessarily the fastest, that comes out on top here?
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of just knowledge. This track can be tricky. They got a couple sharp hairpins. You can get a lot of speed going down into the fountain. The last hairpin before the front stretch is real dangerous and sharp. So if these guys haven't practiced at all, it's going to be a little bit of chaos possibly, or they're just going to be slow. But if somebody just takes it nice and easy, keeps their car together, they can find themselves easily with the top five tonight.
So your points that are going out there right now, Kevin McCann, he was the one that was leading the most laps last week and ended up getting it done, but it certainly wasn't easy as he had Ricky Gonzalez breathing in his neck. Looks like no Ricky here tonight, so not sure if it's going to necessarily be easier because you go from the oval to the road and it's completely different discipline. And you'll see another thing too out here is you'll see two different tire compounds. You see right now Kevin McCann out there on the red tires. Those are softer tires. They will give you a lot more grip and essentially a lot more speed, but they will also wear a lot quicker. How quick? It depends on how hard you're running them. Depends on how much you're burning off. Then the other ones you'll see are basically just going to look like black tires. There's no red stripe on the outside. They're just black. Those are the primary tires. Those are harder compound and will last you longer, but it will sacrifice some grip as well. So interesting to see these guys maybe trying some different strategies here and see how everything plays out here tonight.
Yeah, this will kind of come down to, if they practiced or not and which works better for them, or if they even know they have the option to go in there and change it when they come in for their pit stops.
So you see these guys are going to be getting 10 minutes of qualifying here tonight. With the road courses for the season, they're going to get the extra 5 minutes. One, because it takes a little bit longer to get around some of these tracks, and two, just for everybody to kind of have a chance because there's going to be times where guys go out the pits and wreck it before they even get to the line and have to reset. So this track is, again, it's a street circuit. Street circuits are not exactly friendly. You need to know what you're doing at all times because it's close quarter racing. Um, I got to say, Long Beach is probably one of the wider street circuits that you'll see. It's a little bit more forgiving. You see, you can fit probably 3 cars wide if you want to. You certainly don't want to, but you'll see a lot of tighter corners, like going around the fountain right here with Dane Simpson, and getting into the brunt of the beginning of this lap here, and it's going to be really tricky to find some passing spots out there.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be a little tricky to find some passing spots, and people are gonna be tempted to make that lunge into a corner, and hopefully they make it stick.
And again, it's not high speeds here tonight with it being the road course, but that doesn't necessarily mean you can just take damage willy nilly. You don't want to lose part of a front wing, back wing, anything like that, because it's gonna make those turn ins or exits from the corners just not feel right, or not give you the grip, and it'll be like not having the downforce on a high speed track like Texas or something like that. So we'll see these guys putting in some laps here. Our in-race reporter tonight is going to be the birthday boy. It's going to be John Crane. We'll bring him in here in a little bit, but you see him out there right now getting in some laps. We'll see how many guys can actually complete a lap and actually put some time down here in practice, as I think we've seen about 12 of the 16 guys in practice actually get a lap down.
Yeah, and it might be them just pushing the car a little bit harder, trying to find the limitations. But definitely was something that you wanna, you gotta live on the edge, and you gotta be precise and accurate when you're making your corners and your throttle control coming off. Because if not, you can spin it around.
And you see right there, good save by John Crane, keeping it going here. Some of these curbs you can take, and you can take a lot of, and other ones will absolutely grab you and just throw you off like a catapult. So it's not just knowing how the course goes, not just knowing where you got to turn in and where you can't do that right there, but it's also knowing how much you can get. And that's what Jimmy was saying. It's guys maybe testing the limits in practice to see how much curb they can take, where they can accelerate a little bit harder, because you see a lot of guys struggling here in the practice session with just getting on the throttle, getting out of the corner.
Yeah, it's a fine line with your braking, slowing, turning, getting on the gas to help rotate that car, especially the final turn. And I have a funny suspicion it's gonna be turn one right here where Terry Jansen just went through, and that last turn, and people are gonna try to make a move there, and because somebody's gonna go wide and be slow, and somebody's gonna run in the back of somebody. But that's just my superstition, as we've ran cars here before in the core racing league, and that corner's just always been troublesome.
Yeah, turn one is clearly a heavy braking zone, and one of the few passing opportunities here at Long Beach. And you will see a couple other things. You'll see some runoff areas off of some of these corners. For instance, turn one does have the other runoff. So if you happen to be, just going into that corner a little bit too hot, you can basically keep the car straight. Just kind of like you see Terry Jansen right there. There's a little bit extra room off the straightness of these corners, and gives you a chance to to not do that right there and
Practice your
crash
K
into it
turn.
and lose the wing, unfortunately. But yeah, so it'll give the guys a bailout essentially. But if you're getting into the corners that much, bailout is the last thing you really want to be worrying about. So we'll see these guys try and put down some hot laps. Kevin McCann was fast in practice. He is top of the boards right now with a 108.327. This man right here, Alexander Carver Robbins, was kind of nipping at his heels a bit in practice. We'll see what kind of time he can put down, as Padir right now sitting in second, just about 4/10 of a second back. So not too bad of a lap there from Padir. We'll see if Carver Robbins coming by right now can do anything to stir the top of that boards, and he will. He will go into second place with a 108.622, about 3/10 off of McCann, so not bad at all. I mean, you consider about over a minute and 8 seconds to get around this track, and only separated by 3/10 is plenty close enough to have some racing.
Oh yeah, it's definitely can be anybody's race as well. With all the how accurate these guys need to get around here tonight. So I mean, one wrong move and off a fin you go, and these guys do get too fast repairs, but it still takes time to get the car around. If it's damaged that bad, then you're gonna have to tow.
With about 2 minutes left here in qualifying, we will bring in our man of the race here, our birthday boy, John. It looks like it's gonna be a bit rough out there. So without giving away all your secrets, what's gonna be your strategy here tonight?
Just play it safe. Try to be there at the end. Stay away from everybody else, and just try to be clean.
All right, Jimmy, I'll let you finish up the interview here. I'm gonna clear everything up with the drivers here, and I will be right back.
Yeah, first, happy birthday to you there, John. I know you probably had a good day there, just kind of doing what you do normally, but now you're here at the race here at Long Beach. See you sitting in ninth position, and you talked about, staying away from everybody. You're kind of towards the back of the pack, but sort of midfield. So, do you plan on slowing down? Do you try to keep the flow, or what are your kind of goals here on the start of this race?
I'm just gonna try to settle in and try to find the pace that's kind of equal, and just try to stay away from everybody else that's gonna make a mistake.
Well, I definitely wish you luck out there, and I'll give you this since it's about a minute here till we start the getting gridded up, and I give you the opportunity to, if you have anybody you want to give a shout out to here tonight.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to the network crew. You know, thank you guys for doing everything you do for us. You guys put on one hell of a show every week. We really do appreciate it. Um, you know, if it wasn't for you guys, our families wouldn't be able to tune in. So that's a huge, huge win for us.
Yeah, we really, we really like doing this for you guys, so your family could share and see what you're doing out there. And I hope you, I wish you the best of luck out there tonight, and hopefully your plan comes in play.
Thank you, man, and I can't wait to talk to you after the race.
All right, have a good one.
You too.
All right, that was John Crane. That is your in-race reporter here. Hopefully, these guys will keep it green. Nothing against them, but I don't doubt that we're going to see at least one yellow, if not both yellows here tonight. Again, what is going to bring out a yellow is if somebody needs to tow back to the pits. If they're damaged that bad and they can't make it back to the pits, we will have a full course yellow, and that'll be a maximum of 2. So we'll see how that works out with 50 laps here tonight. But Jimmy, why don't you give us a rundown of the qualifying results?
Yeah, our rundown for tonight on pole will be Kevin McCann. Alongside will be Alexander Carver. And then we have Padier in third, Paul Owens in fourth, Matthew Parentis in 5, Matt Crockett in 6th, Kevin Foster in 7th, Dane Simpson in 9th, John Crane in 9th, Jonathan Cogswell in 10th, Terry Jensen in 11th, Dave Pepelinski in 12th, Avi Vishvasam in 13th, Declan Poles in 14th, Tim Thompson in 15th, and Trevon Wallace back in 16th. And then the 5 guys in the back didn't set a time, so it's just set up by their current I rating. So wish them guys best of luck out there, and hopefully we can see a great race.
Yeah, certainly like to see these guys stretch it out here a little bit and really give each other some room, especially on the start here, because it's going to be hot and heavy. We got 16 drivers out here tonight. Everybody's going to be wanting to get everything they can, especially in that start right there is the longest stretch that you see. We'll bring up the trap map and show you. It is not necessarily a straightaway. It's got a bit of a kink going through and across the start finish line, but it is the longest section of the track right here. As the pace car drops in, we're getting ready to go racing here at Long Beach. Kevin McCann, Alexander Carver Robbins on the front row. And Barney waving the flag green and Long Beach side by side for the lead, as Carver Robbins not wanting to give an inch. He wants to give them all a good show here going into turn 1. McCann is going to be able to clear, and we'll see if anybody comes up with any kind of wrecks through there. Looks like everybody clean up here at the front.
We have Terry Jansen in the back here. I'll sneak back here and do a quick replay. Looks like he just slowed down and kind of let everybody go by. Not really an accident.
And maybe not necessarily the worst thing to do here, just kind of settle down. But it looks like we got a problem with the 54. 54 with a loss of a wing and tire. And that's going to be trouble here as we backing it up.
Definitely have a collision here, as looks like we might.
And that's going to bring out our first caution there, as that was just one heck of a pileup right there. And that didn't take too long, unfortunately. And that one is going to be on the 54. Looks like he was just trying to limp that thing back to the pits, but just maybe a little bit too quickly. And just kind of shot through the corner. You see that tire already wobbling on the car. He tries to bring it down to the inside. It looks like he tries to get woed up, but it just will not woe up at all. And gets into the 10, and that pretty much just bottlenecks everything. The 96, nowhere to go. He gets hit hard. Looks like the 079, pretty much the only one, and our in-race reporter there, the 11, being able to get by. So a few guys getting by, but it's kind of blind right there coming through the corner. and you see some of these other guys just not being able to get by here at the end.
And Terry Jansen slowed down to let these guys go by, and unfortunately, ended up, not being able to make that turn. So it looks like Matt Crockett, Paul Owens, Kevin Foster, and Terry Jansen, and looked like Declan Poles coming in there at the end.
It looked like too bad a damage for a few of these guys, especially like Terry Jansen. Maybe just a new wing on the front, and he'll be good to go. Not necessarily a fast pair there. But we'll bring in our in-race reporter already here. Yeah, I mean, you guys didn't get through one lap there, and there was already a caution. Tell me what it looked like coming through there with the little tight window there for you to get by.
I saw one car that didn't have front end control, and they just T-boned, and there was a little gap there, and I shot the gap.
See Dane Simpson limping that car around as his tires are getting ready to fall off. Hopefully these guys have practiced where pit entry is, because it's right off a turn, right off that last turn. It's like a very unique pit entry there. You don't have much of time to get in there.
Yeah, it's
But at
really
least-
tight. If you're damaged, it's really hard to get in there.
Yeah, I mean, at least coming around that corner, you're real slow, so it gives you the opportunity to get in there. But you got through there without no damage there tonight, John.
Yeah, so far so good. No damage, nice and clean. Try to do it all over again, I guess.
Well, wish you the best of luck out there. As looks like you guys got at least another lap or two in here under caution. But you're currently sitting in third position, so so far so good, working out for you tonight.
So far so good. Hopefully I can keep it up.
So I'll go ahead and I'll throw you back up there, and as I think Carl is trying to sort out some of the admin stuff here. But I'll go ahead and throw you back up in there so you can focus on your race. And again, we wish you luck.
Thanks again, and yeah, this is fun.
We might be talking to you again. And that was our in-car reporter, John Crane, as he was able to scave through those that incident there, and is currently sitting in third position. So not something you want to see, but it did help John out there here so far tonight, and hopefully he can maintain that position and finish this race up with maybe a podium tonight.
Yeah, and it just lends to the fact of exactly what we talked about before the race here is keep it clean, keep it clean, keep it clean. I mean, no matter what you got to do, doesn't matter if you're 5 seconds faster than the entire field. If you wreck it on lap 2, doesn't really matter how fast you are. So you just need to keep everything intact on that car. Keep it off the walls, keep it off your competitors. I mean, if somebody gets into you, it kind of is what it is. It's not under your control, but whatever you can control, make sure you keep everything clean out there. So we'll see these guys grouping up. It looks like we're going to have at least one more pace lap here, and then we will get things back going here in Long Beach.
Yeah, so Tim Thompson and Trevon Wallace, they gained 10 positions from that little catastrophe that they had there, and so that's doing their race good so far here tonight. John's up 6 points. Jonathan Cogswell's up 6 positions. Matthew Parentis is up 3 positions. And John McCann's still out in the lead. So again, this is going to be a very interesting night here, and see if these guys can. And I had to make a correction from earlier. I seen the 08 and thought it was the 8, and that would be Abhi Vishwasam and not Kevin Foster. So Kevin Foster was not involved in that last incident.
A little bit of a surprise here as Carver Robbins, I believe he came into the pits there under the caution. And yes, it looks like pretty much 7th on back came in to the pits. That's why I see these guys, other than the you know, the wreck that took a bunch of people out, obviously, but the you know, the track position seems like it's pretty paramount here, and to see Carver Robbins come in, you know, not sure if he's already thinking about fuel. It's never too early to start thinking about it, but that is quite an early pit stop there on lap 2.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to get out there and see how long the actual pit window is, but I also didn't take in effect that these guys are running two sets of different types of tires. As you can see, like our in-car reporter there is on the normal tires without the red ring, and then Jonathan Cogswell that's right behind him. You can see the red ring on the outside tire, which notes that he's on the softer tire. So John might be a little bit slower, but his tires will last longer as long as he's not burning them up.
So again, we'll get the track map up for you. I'm not sure if it's showing up for you, Jimmy, but it is not showing up from my side here.
Yeah, it's sometimes when I switch around a little bit, it might drop off now. Hence, we'll get the you'll hear the we need the track map, and I'll bring it right up as soon as possible, or we just do a reload on the overlay. But the caution lights are off on the pace car as they approach the final turn, so they'll be going back to green here soon.
And this time, when the pace car drops in, the field will be under the control of your leader, Kevin McCann, as Matt Prentice is the other one that is on the front row. Everybody's starting to double file up there. And McCann back on the loud pedal. We're back at green here at Long Beach. Everybody in the front spreading out kind of nicely here. Everybody in single file. Prentice looked like maybe he was going to try and have some kind of move there, but he will fall back in line. And we are heading through the, you know, one of the most picturesque spots here in Long Beach. One of the slower spots, but it's one where it's cool to see whatever cars are going by there, whether it's GTs, whether it's Indy cars, you know, anything going through the fountain area is pretty cool, and it's no surprise that a lot of these teams that end up winning at Long Beach bring the whole team out there and they basically celebrate in the fountain.
Right.
So we'll see if these guys can get
Oh,
in
there's an
a
accident.
clean lap.
Turn 8. And that would be Tim Thompson, but he's a single car accident.
It looks like, oh, unfortunately, just getting on the brakes and the car just didn't do what he wanted it to do at all. He's gonna get that thing turned around and limp that thing back to the pits. So we're gonna stay green here, and it is our second place driver Matt Prentice looping it a little bit here, and unfortunately he's gonna be stuck there until he can find a spot to turn around, and that is just a tough spot to be in right there. Watching the entire field go by as he was sitting in second, chasing down McCann. He's finally going to get that thing turned around, but he goes from second all the way back to, looks like 12th position right now. Last in the lead lap cars right now. That is a shame for the 98.
Yeah, I mean, but he did the right thing, you know, holding up and not trying to pull out in front of somebody and force an issue, so unfortunate that he spun around there, but at least he lives to see another lap and is able to keep on going, and everybody else has a, you know, clean lap that race as well. As it looks like Tim Thompson is in the pits as he goes one lap down.
Thompson finally getting to limp back into the pits with that damaged car. But out front with about a 6.5 second lead is Kevin McCann. Our birthday boy, John Crane, enjoying this start to the race here. He wasn't involved in anything as of yet. Knock on wood. Hopefully that's not the broadcaster's curse. But up there into second place right now with that Doritos machine, looking pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, he said he was just going to take it easy, so if anybody pressures him, I think he's just going to let him go by, but because he wants to finish the race, obviously. But he's doing a good job holding off Trevon Wallace as they're both up. Well, John's up 7 positions, and Trevon Wallace is up 13 as he came from the back.
Everything's starting to settle out right now. And again, still, I'm not seeing the track map on my side over here, Jimmy. I'm not sure if you see it on your side.
Yeah, it's
But
it's definitely up. I'll refresh to see if that helps you out, but everything's good up on our end.
These guys stretched out pretty nicely as there we go. Now it's working on my side here. And again, you see where the 11 is right now on the track. That is essentially what's considered the front stretch, even though there's kind of a bit of a tri-oval, if you will, for that whole straightaway. But that's the longest part of the track, and that's usually where you'll see guys try to set up a pass. You really need to get a good exit out of turn 11. Right there, you see the hairpin. Really, really tight corner right there. And you need to hit it correctly, because if you don't hit it correctly, you may be stopping and backing up just to make it around that corner.
Yeah, it's a real finicky corner, and if you don't enter it properly, it makes for an ugly exit, and it really sacrifices a lot of your lap time speed.
It's like Terry Jansen having a bit of an issue back there in the pack, and he is limping that car back to the pits as well. And again, another wobbly tire. He's going to take it wide just to get out of the way of the leader coming in here. And then he's going to try and sneak into the pits. Good job there. That's a good veteran move right there. He's seen the leader coming up there. He's good job watching his relative. Stayed out of the way, gets himself into pit lane, and get clean back up here. But
As Kevin
little bit
Foster
of a
goes around.
loop there by Foster, and that is going to lose a wing, at least both front sides, and he will back it into pit lane. There's something you don't see every day,
Yep,
but he will get it right into pit lane, get a new wing, get back out there.
Yeah. You hate to see it getting wrapped around like that, but definitely, I guess, in the right spot where you could just back it right into the pits and get that thing fixed to get back out there.
Yeah, I seen him back it up. I'm like, oh, he took off the front wing. Now he's going to take off the back wing. And all of a sudden, he just disappears behind that wall. That was just perfect pit entry. I kind of from the 8 there. Out front, McCann not having any kind of issues right now as he stretches out that lead out to over 9 seconds now over John Crane. Looks like Trevon Wallace is sticking right there with Crane, just about a half a second behind, with Carver Robbins moving his way nicely back up to 4th place. He's got speed in that car, maybe a little bit too much speed, almost gets in the back of Wallace. As they get back going here, he is on the hunt to try and get back in a second for sure. And it looks like he's not the fastest on the track. He is the second fastest to Kevin McCann, but he is running some good lap times behind these guys. You see taking big chunks left and right out of both Crane and Wallace here as he catches back up to the field. And now maybe we'll get a chance to see a car that is, shown that he's been strong early in this race, figure out a way to actually make a pass happen here. He's moved up from the start of the race, and that could be from some of these guys, wrecking or having some missteps in front of him. But now he's got a couple of pretty decent cars in front of him with Wallace and Crane. So see how he handles this issue for the 11. And it looked like for a second there the tire was wobbling. I know he lost his front wing for sure. So that is going to be the first issue for the 11, and he's going to have to give up 2nd place. He's going to drop the 4th, and he could drop that thing into pit lane as well.
We'll see where he comes around here and how he decides to make this, as it looks like he's going to try to take her around one more time there, Carl.
Indeed he is, and it looks like there's been a little bit of an issue here.
Oh, back with Cogswell.
With Jonathan Cogswell. Looks like he jumped into the pits. We'll see what happened here as just overshooting the corner. Big hit into the tire barrier. And it looks like it killed that car. He did not ask for a tow there. He towed it back by himself, so we will stay green.
Yeah, he'll have to wait that tow time in order to get that quick repair done to his car. As John continues to keep that car going, he's currently in 4th position, running around with 1 wing. So we'll see if that works out for him as he's at least getting around the track. He doesn't seem to be having any steering issues, but I'm sure the handling's not that great.
I mean, he's got that Cool Ranch Dorito paint scheme on there, so he's just trying to stay cool in the car, but it's certainly not handling the way he wants to right now. He's able to keep it straight right now, keep it going, but you see Padir already closing in on him, looking to make that pass. And right there, you see the right-hand turn as the 11 will dip into the pits and at least get that wing repaired. Hopefully, these guys realize that, a little shunt like that with the wing can be repaired pretty quickly without using a fast repair. Don't want to use those two fast repairs too early if you don't have to, especially only here on lap 12 of 50. So a lot of racing here to go. And if it's something as easy as a wing, that's something that they can just, rip off, put a new one on there. But it looks like he is opting for the fast repair and some fresh tires as well. 11 down and coming back out.
Yeah, I mean, they have 2 fast repairs, so we're 12 laps into this race, and I guess maybe if you're using your first one now, it's not too bad of a deal, and you still have 1 remaining. So it'd just be, if he takes any more damage at all tonight, then maybe think about the other option of manually getting it fixed.
The 079 of Carver Robbins now into second place. Not sure if Wallace had an issue or maybe just pulled it aside, but either way, that 079 is back into second, back turning some great laps. We'll see what he can do to that lead, out to 11 and a half seconds right now for Kevin McCann, but still plenty early. You see if he can start chipping into that lead and maybe put a run in here for this win as well.
Yeah, it was, as we were talking here with about Carver, we had Declan have a little incident back here, so we see what kind of happened to him.
And looks like the same turn. Just guys getting in there a little bit too hot and a big shunt into the wall there, catching the tire barrier and the wall. He's going to hop it back into the pits again. No tow called, so we will stay green here at Long Beach.
Yeah, we only do 2 full course cautions, as we already had 1, so 1 more would be it for the night, as these guys are on lap 14. And usually we save our full course cautions for when the driver actually calls out that they tow, or there was like a big accident like we seen earlier that collected 4 or 5 cars.
Like another issue for Terry Jansen. And that was right in front of the 05 of Tim Thompson. Looks like everybody getting through there. Terry Jansen just having a bit of a rough race out there right now. We'll see exactly what happened. Looks like getting through turn 1 just looks like he missed his braking point or something there, but that was just, as soon as he got on the brakes, that thing locked up, and it was going along for a ride at that point.
Yeah, and he just called it, put it in the pits, towed it before anybody came down through there. But currently in the lead here, it would be Kevin McCann. That he's out to a 10 or a 10.7 second lead over Carver Robbins, as he looked like he was losing a little bit of time there, but has picked up the pace on lap 14 there to kind of pull out just a little bit here. So he's got plenty of time to just kind of take it easy on them tires and make them last and get a full tank out of it.
Yeah, a little scrape of the wall when we just picked up Kevin McCann there, but it looks like that car is still clean and still driving well. And yeah, I mean, when we picked it up here, it was about 11 and a half seconds, came all the way down to about 10.7, but starting to stretch back out, and it kind of jumps around a little bit. It just depends on how they hit these timing towers. As you see, it got all the way down to 10.5 there, so we'll certainly keep an eye on that. But looking back here, as we have Dane Simpson in 4th, and both Vishuvasham and Prentice are closing in on him, so could have a battle here pretty soon for 4th.
Yeah, these guys have we got wrapped up a little bit earlier in the first incident, but they're back out here, still at it, making this car go around and closing in on each other, and to make things maybe a little bit interesting here in the later laps.
Yeah, this thing is just going to be, like we said, the strongest will survive here, and we already down to 8 guys on the lead lap, and not too many within even smelling range of the leader, Kevin McCann, right now as he's checking out. But again, danger looms around every corner here at Long Beach, so we'll see how this thing plays out, but not even close to halfway yet, so a lot of racing here to go. Still got plenty of pit stops, pit strategy. See what these drivers do on tires. As we said, they have free reign of whatever tires they want to run. The reds are going to give them a lot more grip, but they're going to burn off a lot quicker, where the blacks will give them a longer run, but maybe not as much grip. So see how everything plays out. It looks like our top 3 right now are on the red tires, with Dane Simpson, the first one that is on the primary black tire. So see him going for a bit of a longer stint here, and it may pay off. And it could be why these guys behind him were catching up a little bit, since they were on the faster red tires, the option tires there. But right now, Dane is starting to maybe come into his own here, starting to settle in here, and he's starting to put in some decent laps here with those black primary tires.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of focus, and to go 50 laps and stayed focused with all these tight turns. And as we maybe gave him the broadcaster's curse as he hit the wall there coming out of the fountain.
Yeah, that is exactly what can happen if you don't have grip. That thing just launched into the wall. Looks like we have another incident. Dave Poplinski crashing and towing into the pits. So Long Beach starting to claim more and more victims here. We'll take a look what happened to Poplinski. Looks like it was going into turn 1. And just another one that just maybe misses breaking point, or the wheels just locked up, but big hit. And it looks like Dane Simpson now, maybe with Tim Thompson. Not sure if they both got together. Alexander Carver Robbins now, I believe, getting involved in something as well in second place.
Check out Dane here. Let's see what happened. That was just, I think, him just trying to get around that corner. Probably hit that wall there. Yep. And then Alexander Carver incident here.
Oh, that was a big hit as he's just trying to get too much. Turn 1 starting to claim driver after driver here, and that was a big hit for the 079. And it's getting to the point where we're starting to lose drivers left and right here. It's real easy to happen. It's just pushing a little bit too hard into the corners. You really just need to focus on being smooth, backing up these corners. As you see another car, looks like was our third place car of Trayvon Wallace, I believe. Kevin Foster having another issue coming out of that hairpin, and luckily again right by pit road, he can bring it right in. So I guess he's making optimal crashes here, crashing right before pit lane so he can just dive right in here. But big wreck right there.
Turn one again.
Turn 1 just claiming a bunch of guys right now.
Yeah, them red tires getting hot, and they're losing their grip a little bit, maybe, Carl.
Yeah, absolutely. You see the 079 just doing his best to try and limp around and get that thing back to pit lane. It's one of those things where, you see a bunch of guys 1 lap down right now. Like if you go a lap down right now and just come in and get pit, or get fixed in pit lane, you're still in the top 10. You're still in good shape. So do everything you can to just get back in there, get back in the pits, and get back out on track, and not have to tow, because you won't have to drive around with a beat up car, but that tow time is going to be most likely a lot longer than it would be for you to drive around there. So any little bit of time you could save, if you think it's safe enough, it's worth doing.
Yeah, the thing is, like when they decide to drive the car around, is to make sure they try to get out of the individuals that are still running well's way, so we're not causing another incident on top of your own. But as it stands right now, Kevin McCann is out to a 20-second lead, with Padyear in second, and Avi Vishwavasan finding himself in third, and Matthew Prentice in fourth, and Alexander Carver back in fifth.
So it looks like Carver is back out on the track and already starting to turn in some fast laps. So we'll see if he can start making a charge back through the field, but certainly a bit of a heartbreak there for the 079, as he was doing his best to try and run down Kevin McCann, and just a little bit too strong into turn one, and it can easily happen. I mean, you need to be so fine with these break points, so fine with the turn-ins, everything. It's just there. You're almost easier having something happen to you than you are hitting your marks every time.
Oh yeah, it's very hard to hit your marks every time, and this is a newer series for us. Cora hasn't done this in a while, so, and we got some new drivers out here. Don't know everybody's skill set or how often they drive these cars, but it's something to get out here and prove your skill set, just get better. So if something happens, get in the pits, get your repairs done, come back out and give it another try. And even if you're at a fast repairs, sometimes just waiting that little bit of time to get your car fixed, get back out there. At least that's time on track, Carl.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, regardless if you're up there battling for lead or battling for 10th place, or just, kind of cruising around in last, any track time is good track time. And these cars may be, fast, they may be high downforce, but on tracks like this, there's a lot of times where you just feel that downforce go away in just a split second. So it gives you a real opportunity to get a feel for a car that's kind of right on the edge, because that's what this thing is here at Long Beach. It is right on the edge constantly, and it makes it when you get in some of those slower cars, like the GT3s, or even your NASCARs, your Truck Series, anything like that. It gives you a little bit more feel for what the car or truck or whatever it is you're driving is actually doing.
Yeah, it definitely makes the driving when you get into a slower car, you're kind of more aware of where kind of things are at, and you know, obviously you can't take them corners as hard or as fast, but it definitely just gives you a better feel and just basically slowing things down. So, um, I do it all the time when I'll go ahead and I'll run the LMP2 somewhere and then just hop in like the GT3 car and realize where a lot of the apexes are pretty much the same. It's just all about getting the car slowed down to, its body weight ratio to, get around the corners the best you can.
Well, it's a situation where you're driving the Indy cars, and you make that little mistake. Unfortunately, in the Indy cars, that little mistake could end your day right there. You just get a little bit too hot into the corner, or you get a little bit loose, and the car could just snap on you. But knowing that you're driving right on the edge there, and
Ooh,
having
nice
that
save.
feel, and just really kind of wrestling the car at all times. When you get into that slower car, like like we were saying, like a GT3, where it's not going to do that. It's not going to just snap completely loose and throw you into the wall like the Indy car would. But you feel those little bit of, loss of grips. You feel those little bit of, spinning the tires coming out of the corners. And that's where you can start gaining that time, is knowing exactly what you're feeling in the car at all times, and working on correcting that time in and time out, whether it's, this corner you're struggling getting into, or spinning the tires coming out of this corner. You start to feel that a little bit more when you go from these Indy cars to something that doesn't have as much downforce or grip. So it seems like
Looks like we
the
might
field
have
is just kind
had.
of settling down here a little bit.
Looks like
It looks like
Alexander
maybe
Carver
Carver
might
Roberts.
have happened. Yeah, another incident here.
And a good job right
Oh,
there up until the spin around, as he will lose half the wing trying to spin that car back around. A good job knowing that he wasn't going to make the corner, taking that little access road, the little runoff, but unfortunately he tries to spin the car around and tags the wall anyway. And yeah, I think Kevin McCann may be the only one out there without incidents yet. So again, don't want to give the broadcaster's curse to him, but we are just halfway right now, and you see pretty much this entire field is a lap down, with the exception of Padir in second and Prentice in third. Both guys showing plenty of speed, so as long as they can keep it clean, they should be able to come home with podiums here today. Garver Robbins certainly having his problems in fourth place there, as he would love to be fighting up there for the win, but just a couple incidents, and we'll see if that incident right there makes him come into the pits. The rest of the field, just kind of just dodging, diving around these other cars that are having incidents, or maybe having their incidents themselves. But looks like we are down to 11 out of the 16, or possibly 12. It looks like Dane Simpson just in the pits right now, so 12 out of 16 still running out here.
Yeah, I mean, just got to get out there. Got to keep, put the practice in, as I know a lot of these guys were practicing, and just get used to the car. Like I said, it's not only knowing to brake and when to get in the corner, but obviously getting out, so you don't push out or you don't spin the car out. But it looks like our biggest problem is just getting into the corner a little bit too hot and heavy, and losing it trying to exit on the corners.
Yeah, I mean, really, turn one has been the biggest problem child here tonight. It looks like Dane Simpson coming out of the pits, and he is now involved in another wreck here. Not sure what happened.
Like he was clear. He's currently clear.
Yes, I'm not sure what
check
what
that.
exactly happened there to Dane Simpson, but
Maybe it was just a slowdown. Maybe he just slowed up, and because of the timing, how the threshold of the crashes, maybe it was just him letting Tim Thompson get around.
yep,
And
absolutely.
that's what it was.
It looks like that's exactly what happened. So good job there by Dane Simpson doing that. So yeah, as we were saying, I mean, it's really, turn one has been a big problem, and then getting over there. I believe it's like turn 7 or turn 8. That is, it's really those two corners that have been the biggest problems all night so far. And again, yeah, it's guys trying to get a little bit too much, and you miss your braking point. That's one thing that's check one. That's bad. Then you get on these street courses like this that are just extremely bumpy, especially into these braking zones, and that's strike 2. And then think that you can still make a corner, strike 3, you're in the wall. It's really just that quick.
And it's
Unfortunately,
split
a lot of these
seconds.
guys getting caught up with that.
Yeah, it's definitely split seconds with all that, all that happening, all that going in your mind, braking, turning, getting in the gas, or, it's just so much, so little time, and to be so precise with some of these corners is crazy.
It makes the times where we show cars like this on the screen here, with Matt Crockett repping the In-N-Out Burger here out here on the West Coast, and just seeing a clean car at this point, it looks so good.
Yeah, definitely. The cars do look good when they're all cleaned up and not banged up, and with them being all spread out like this, I get to kind of go around and see what everybody's looking, how they're doing out there, and what their cars look like. As Kevin McCann sporting the American pride there. He's the American Eagle there. Padier, oh, he looks like he's in the pits as he's rocking the Sad Boys paint scheme on his car. Alexander Carvier is running the is that the Oz paint scheme there?
Bill out there with half a wing on the front.
Yeah, and getting around pretty decently without it. Obviously, he's got to make it work because I think he's used up both his fast repairs already, Carl.
Look like there's some pieces just laying all over the track as well out here.
Matthew Prentice sporting the Ford paint scheme on the Indy car.
It's like Tim Thompson had a bit of an issue. Not sure if he was the
Oh.
one that left his front wing out there on the track or not, but
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
and there it is. Yeah, I thought I seen some pieces rolling down the track when I seen some other guys driving around there, but
I couldn't imagine his steering being very good after that, as his tire is definitely not rolling in a proper circle.
Terry Jansen having another issue the way it seems, but I believe that was just him possibly letting somebody by. Unless he had yet another issue going into turn one. And yep, that's exactly what happened. Oh, and unfortunately he backs it into the wall. The car just would not slow up in time. And first time today we see the back wing wobbling a little bit instead of just the front wing. So
I like how they just wobble around back there. You think the thing would just fall off.
So at this point, like we talked about pre-race, keep this thing clean, keep it on the track, and you can finish with the top 10. At this point, we have looks like about 10 drivers left in this race the way it's going here. A couple guys in the pits, so we're still out there with 12, but certainly some that are going to need to get some repairs done. But out there out front, it is Kevin McCann. That lead, not exactly extending. It's been around 20 seconds for quite some time now, and actually down now to 19 seconds in the 19-second range there. So Padir doing a good job and maybe sneakily reeling him in just a little bit here as we are down to 21 laps to go. So we'll see what happens.
Ooh.
As a big little wiggle there going in the corner. Great save there by the 033 as he was certainly sideways. You may not have noticed it too much on the broadcast, but man, as drivers, I know me and Jimmy seen that right away, and he was way too sideways for your liking for sure.
Yeah, it's like one of those brown pants moments. The car just kind of loses control, and you got to quickly gather yourself and do the best you can to control the car without because it looks like he locked up the brakes, so he probably let out and just kind of let the car collect itself and then coast it through. But a lot of times people panic, and when the car slides, a lot of times your reaction is to put more brake pressure, which will just make the car worse. So letting off is the best thing to do, as these cars don't have anti-lock brakes.
So I think one thing these drivers are going to need after the race will certainly be a little help from our sponsor, which is Liquid Death Mountain Water. Make sure you check them out at liquiddeath.com. Check out, they have plenty of merchandise. You can get some of their still or sparkling water as well. And yeah, I think a lot of these guys are going to need a drink one way or another, whether it's of the water kind or of the adult beverage kind, because this thing is certainly being a bit rough to them out there. And we talked about it. We know it's road course racing is rough as it is, but these street circuits, they can eat you up so quickly, and that's exactly what it's doing. At least when you get on some other tracks, like you'll see next week at Barber, another road course, back-to-back road courses. But Barber at least has some runoffs. It has some grass. It has a chance for you to kind of save the car. Here, as soon as you miss your mark, as soon as you make a mistake, you are in the wall. You are done. You lost something. You broke a wheel, or all the above.
As I'm on board here with Pat Year, looking back on Carver, he had a fast repair. He came in and got a new nose, so Carver's back on the roll again, and I'm sure he's looking to move that car back up to the front.
Well, again, these cars, they do change the wings pretty quickly, and that's where I mentioned, hopefully these guys understand that they don't necessarily need to use a fast repair to change the wings. It's something that The pit crews actually do pretty quickly, at least the front wing. Not sure about the rear wing, but not surprised to see him out there. If he had another fast repair, or if the crew just threw another one on there. As you see, Kevin Foster getting in the wall a little bit, little scrape there. Kevin doing a good job up there, running in 5th place, just kind of quietly running up there. He is right now ahead of Carver Robbins. That battle between Kevin and Carver Robbins looks like it's about to heat up here, as Padir kind of stuck in the middle there. He's in 2nd place. Kind of the meat and the sandwich here, these two guys battling.
Yeah, kind of in that position where you kind of want to get by, but you have somebody hot on your tails pushing. So it's like, you let them go, or you try to, take the next spot away as these guys go around this final turn here. Oh, as Avi gets a
very
little
close.
loose. As Avi's ducking into the pits.
That was
Jonathan
Cogswell getting a little loose. Yeah, that was very close. And that could have been just quickly a 4-car pileup there. So good job. Everybody avoiding that one right there. As a bit of a move right there. Padir getting a little impatient right now. He wants to get around this 8-car as he's starting to lose time once again to Kevin McCann. So I guess one Kevin help out the other right now, as Foster is helping McCann run away with this thing a little bit.
Yeah, as you can see, the Padir lost, a 1.5 seconds. So Kevin might be holding him up just a little bit, but he's not able to just find that right path where he can get around.
And Vishwavasham looking like he's having some issues as well.
There is another one.
And right there, he's getting back going. Unfortunately, Padir finally gets around Foster and right away behind the 08, who's a little bit slow right now. So Padir just not catching a break at all right now, trying to reel in McCann and just not having any kind of help whatsoever. But Carver Robbins, in the meantime, will get by Foster. He's going to move up into 4th place, as those guys are running 4th and 5th at the moment. Looked like Foster got a little hot and heavy in the corner there, was able to make it through, though.
And that would be why Kevin wasn't basically allowing Padir to get by, was because he was fighting for position with Carver.
So we'll see if Padir can now turn it around and start running down McCann once again. Gonna be tough, as McCann is just consistently putting down some really good lap times in the low 110s still. His best as a 109.53. So a couple guys have a faster lap than him, but he's just extremely consistent right now and doing exactly what he's got to do, lap in, lap out.
Yeah, he has enough. He has enough of a lead right now. He can just kind of take his time, and he could lose a second lap and still have plenty of time. So something major would have to happen to McCann, or for him to lose this race.
Yeah, and you almost feel like Padir may feel that same thing now, as he's got plenty of a decent lead on Prentice as well. So he can just, maybe just settle in here. And it looks like Foster will have an issue this time in turn 1.
Oh, yes, he did.
Take it back and take a look at it.
Come on, mouse. Where'd it go?
So again, turn 1 claiming another victim. And a good job there, as Foster, the first one to go into turn 1 incorrectly, missing his points, but he gets it wound up just before the wall and keeps that thing clean. So really good job there by the 8. He will lose a position to Vishwavasam in the meantime, but could have lost a lot more, including his wings in the front.
Yeah, he was able to get that car wound up and not hit that tire barrier. So you can see somebody lost some wings there. They were kind of pink, so I'm thinking Dade Simpson.
Yeah, Simpson had a bit of a shunt a little bit earlier. Still out there driving around, but you take a look at the track map, and just a big difference between the 072 and the 98. In fact, the 072 is closer to the 98. So, you know, a bigger gap between second and third than there is from first to second. So, you know, if you're here, maybe you give it, 1 or 2 laps. You try and make a little bit of a charge, see what you can get. He's gonna need probably about a second to a second and a half every lap just to close him down. You see, he did have a pretty good lap there on lap 34, but it's gonna take a pretty Herculean effort here to be able to run down that 033 as he's 24 seconds adrift right now.
Yeah, these guys are running like 110 for laps, and like the qualification laps, we're down in the 108. So those laps are possible, but with the tire wear and if they got any damage to the car, they're not going to be pulled that out. Plus, plus traffic.
Carver Robbins right now, back-to-back laps where he ran the fastest lap of the race, gets it all the way down now to a 109.08 as the fastest lap of the race. These guys aren't going to get any bonus points for that, but just showing that he's still got plenty of speed in that car. You wonder what could have happened if he could have kept that thing clean, if he would have been able to get past McCann, as he was running up there in the beginning in second place before he had his first of several issues. Back here in 5th place, you see Vishav Asham doing a really good job. Now he's about to have a little bit of fight in his hands as Foster coming back and won that top 5 back.
Yeah, Kevin, he has the pace, and Abby's basically he's taking his time and running a clean race. So that is, that's why Abby's up to he's up 8 positions. So he's the biggest mover of the day so far, as he sits in 5th place, just in front of Kevin Foster.
He's the biggest mover on the way up, the biggest mover on the way down, which is pretty much locked in at this point. Is Paul Owens starting 4th place, and he's going to be finishing at dead last in 16th place. So back in the lead right now, again, still Kevin McCann, and really just, one car in front of him right now, Dane Simpson. After he passes him, you can see on the track map just tons and tons of free real estate in front of him to just stretch that thing out. But
Ooh, we got a little wide there.
exactly, it's that close every single time, every single corner. So no time to breathe whatsoever here at Long Beach. Just about your only chance to actually take a deep breath, maybe take a hand off the wheel to just relax a little bit. Let your shoulders down, let your hair down for a little bit, and then right back into just white knuckle, left hand, right hand, around the fountain, anything and everything here. Take on board, give you a little idea of what Kevin McCann sees in front of him as he chases down the 96 to try and put the Dane Simpson machine a lap down here. And it gives you a little more appreciation. You see how much these things are just bouncing around. Yeah, it's bad enough trying to keep the car under control with it, bouncing up and off the track, but the driver just getting shaken around like that and trying to keep your eyes focused and still hitting your marks, it makes this thing really, really difficult here.
Yeah, it definitely makes things a little difficult. And obviously you can see the halo, it comes down in front of the car. Drivers have the option to make it transparent so you can kind of see through it, but some don't. And, this is another obstacle that's in your way that you have to get used to driving with. As you can see him coming down here into turn 1. And this will be rounding out this lap there as he comes up to the fountain. You can just see how close everything is to the wall and how precise that the turns need to be in order to get around here.
And at the very least, it gives you an absolute appreciation for the real life drivers in the IndyCar series. I mean, these guys are out here doing it virtually, and of course, yeah, you don't want to make a mistake. You don't want to hit the wall. You don't want to wreck your car, wreck your chances of a good finish in the race. But if you hit the wall, I mean, I guess maybe you could get a little bit of a hurt wrist or a finger from some really bad force feedback if you have a strong direct drive wheel. But these IndyCar drivers are doing the exact same thing and more out here on these tracks, and they got a lot more at stake. I know the cars have plenty of safety features built into the cars, but you scrape or bang into these walls here at the speeds that they're going, and you're gonna get some kind of pain one way or another.
Yeah, I can. I have a direct drive, so I know sometimes if I hit a wall and I'm not quite ready for it, and man, the wheel will go flying out of your hands, and you just kind of let go and let Jesus take the wheel, because you don't know what it's gonna do next.
That's why you see a lot of times on race coverage when they show you an incident when a driver knows that there's no chance of them saving it anymore right before they hit the wall, they let go of the wheel, because it's the same thing. I mean, if you hold on to the wheel, it's again they're driving with direct drive, so it is the steering going directly into it, and as soon as those tires snap, the wheel's going to snap and could snap your wrist or snap a finger or anything like that. So that's why I see the real life drivers letting go of the wheel, and some of these virtual drivers, they have to do the same thing. As some have their force feedback turned up a lot with those direct drive wheels, and it's for a reason. You get a more realistic feel, but you get a better feel overall for the car as well.
Yeah, it's the better drives, and we all know they cost a little bit more money, but definitely provides a lot of feedback. Allows you to more detail in the wheel. It kind of lets you know when the car's, when the weight transfers, and like when the car's gonna unload as far as the rear end coming around. So definitely makes a big difference. You don't need one to be super fast. There's many drivers out there that they're running, your standard Logitech or Thrustmaster, and do plenty well with them. And but it's just something when, as you're into, this hobby, where it just makes things better, and it just, it can help you in the long run, but it's not something that's necessary.
It looks like we are now down to 11 cars, as this thing is playing out like an eliminator race here, just eliminating guys left and right. As last place again will be Paul Owens, 15th will be Declan Poles, 14th Dave Poplinski, 13th Trayvon Wallace, 12th will be Terry Jansen. The rest of the field still out there running, as we are now down to 8 laps to go. So slowly but surely we have found our way towards the end of this race, and it's still all Kevin McCann out front. He has led every lap here so far. He's had a couple challengers, but those couple challengers have gone by the wayside by self-inflicted pain, by hitting these walls and tearing up the cars. Padir is the one that's lasted the longest here in second place. Prentice has kind of settled there in third. Carver Robbins in fourth, still trying to run those podium positions down.
Yeah, he's just at a touch there, but he, obviously has done a good job to come out, and he's taken off time from, Prentice, but he just doesn't quite have enough time, I think, to catch up to him, Carl, as we only have about 7 laps remaining.
Well, if he keeps turning in lap times like he did that last lap there, I mean, he was about 2 seconds faster. Actually, the last 5 laps, really, about 2 seconds faster every time by. So if he can keep that thing clean, all he's got to do is get around the 10 right now of Matt Crockett, and he's got Prentice directly in sight. So I think we may have a battle here for the last podium position.
Guess I could
Looks
do
like the
this.
10 doing a gentleman move there by moving over, letting them battle this thing out. Carver Robbins going around the fountain there, and right there is Prentice. We've got a battle, as it's only a second now, and he was gaining about 1.5 to 2 seconds a lap. This thing may not even be a battle. This thing could go right to Carver Robbins, as he may work by pretty quickly here. No chance to catch up for second place unless there's an issue from Padir, but a good battle back here. He's got to keep this thing clean. It's, all the issues that he's dealt with today have been self-inflicted, so he's got to make sure he doesn't make any more mistakes here when he's trying to pass this 98.
Yeah, it's at that point where, he took this time, you caught up to him, You gotta settle down. You know you're faster than he is. Get this good exit here. Looks like Prentice got just a little better exit. So now he's gonna utilize this draft to catch up, but you don't want to overdrive turn 1.
The difference between third and fourth now down to a half a second. Thought about it for a second there. Backs out of it. Both those guys make it through turn 1. They'll stay single file through the fountain area. This is your best battle on the track right now, and it's for the last podium spot. See these guys work through the slow section here. A lot of right-hand turns here at Long Beach. You got the left-hand turn right here. Sets up one possible diving spot to try and get a position on somebody. Not gonna happen here. Another long straightaway. Consider the backstretch here. He's gonna have a nice toe, but not gonna be enough right now. He's gonna have to settle in. He's really gonna have to get that run out of the hairpin. He's clearly the faster car right now, and he could, make a bit of a risky move by diving to the inside of the hairpin and trying to force Prentice around the outside. But both those guys could get stuck and not make that hairpin. So a good job right now by Prentice holding off a very fast, very strong Carver Robbins.
Yeah, Carver, I'm sure trying to pressure Prentice as he's right on the heels of Prentice there, and just try to pressure him into a mistake because you have to find it as the passing is so limited here.
And he's doing this with tires from back. Looks like on lap 29 was the last time he pitted. He had 3 lap fresher tires right now than Prentice. And you see just all over the backside, long straightaway here. He may have a chance. And he's going to try and look to the inside, and he's going to make the late dive here. Going to get it done. Little wobble off the corner, but a great pass there by Carver Robbins to move back up into third place. We'll see if Prentice has anything to say about it, see if he can try and fight back. He's going to get the draft down the front stretch here. He'll keep it within 0.7 of a second, but he's going to have to keep it that close the entire lap and try and slowly reel him back in. But you see Prentice just, those 3 lap fresher tires seem to be really doing it for him right now as he's getting some good drives out of these corners. See a little wiggle back there by that 98. That's going to lose him some time as well. So again, just a really, really fine performance here from Carver Robbins to overcome the several issues that he's had today and still bring this home in third place if he can finish this out for the last 3 laps as your leader just crossed the line. We are now 3 laps to go. And just a great performance so far by that 033. You've seen a couple little hiccups here, but nothing at all to damage the car. Just getting a little sideways, maybe a little bit too heavy on the braking, but doing a really good job just acing this field here, acing the test of Long Beach so far. Getting really close to the wall here, though. It can go away that quickly.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a good lead of 32 seconds here, but, one mistake and it's gone.
And the thing is, your armchair quarterbacks, can just sit back and say, well, he's got a huge lead. Why not just back off a little bit, instead of running 110s, go out there and run, 113s, 114s. He's not going to catch you with that kind of pace. But the problem is these cars being so, downforce dependent and aero dependent, if you're not driving them at full force, you're not getting that full force, and it's going to drive completely different. And if you're going into the corner a little bit slower, or even 30 miles an hour slower into the corner, it's going to feel completely different, and it can snap loose on you. It can push through the corner. It'll handle completely different than what you've just been driving for the last 48 laps. So it's not just as simple as backing off the pace. That's it's one of the easiest things to say, but it's one of the hardest things to do.
Yeah, I mean, I've made that mistake as well. Trying to take it easy with like not necessarily these cars, but in like the GT3 car. So trying to save some fuel, and you back up your like you let off the gas, and you're kind of coasting down into a corner. Well, you're not on the gas, so you're not producing that downforce in the rear end, and you go around a corner and you just lose it, and you're like, why? I just been taking this corner for the last 30 minutes, and it should be the same, and it's just different. The car just feels all wrong.
Looks like Kevin Foster having a big issue, and possibly Tim Thompson
Ooh.
as well. Both those guys may be out of the race here late. Looks like Kevin Foster hopping into the pits, as is the 05 of Tim Thompson. We'll show you what happened here with the 8 car. Little scrape of the wall there, and just straight into the wall. Backs it up and gets going again. And that thing just wobbling along. He
Right there,
stays to the right to
yeah.
stay out of Carver Robbins' way. And it looks like from there he may have just towed. We'll see what happened with Tim Thompson here. As you heard it, you heard him get off the gas. He's on the brakes hard, and the thing just not blowing up in time. A big wreck there by the 05. So Kevin goes for fighting for a top 5 to being possibly out of this race, as we're on the last lap here. Kevin McCann finishing off this masterpiece. One more corner to go. And he makes it through clean. A little bit of a wiggle there at the end, but that's not going to be enough to upset him. Kevin McCann, great job, great drive. Win number 2 in 2 races here, doing a great start to the season. Kevin McCann, your winner here at Long Beach. Padir coming around here. Looks like he's just got a couple corners left to go as well to bring this thing home in second. Our in-race reporter, John Crane, finishing up there in 8th place. 3rd place, Carver Robbins. Again, a great battle back for him. Prentice is going to finish 4th. Vishwavasham 5th. Crockett 6th. Looks like Kevin Foster may finish 7th after all. But Badir coming across the line finally. He will finish in 2nd. Cogswell coming across in 9th. And it's going to be Dane Simpson in 10th place. So just confirming that that Kevin Foster will actually finish in 7th place. Pretty much the only one we're waiting on right now is he's coming around. He's got about 4 corners left to go.
Yeah, Dane's getting ready to cross right now. Put him in unofficially, obviously, in 10th, and then is Kevin. Switch to him as he's the last guy on the track. There he is.
So Kevin Foster will bring it home. He is going to bring it home in 7th. So we will we'll gather these guys here in the top 3. We'll bring them into the booth here in just a second.
Yeah, and as we wait for those to come up here in the booth, the standings for tonight will be Kevin McCann as your winner, Padir in 2nd, Alexander Carver in 3rd, Matthew Prentice in 4th, Abhi Vishwavasam round out your top 5. You have Matt Crockett in 6th, Kevin Foster in 7th, John Crane in 8th, Jonathan Cogswell in 9th, Dane Simpson in 10th, Tim Thompson in 11th, Terry Jansen in 12th, Javon Wallace in 13th, Dave Pepolinski in 14th, Declan Poles in 15th, and Paul Owens in 16th. Now I'll round out your field for tonight.
All right, so it looks like we got a couple of the guys here. We got all 3 now. So Jimmy will bring in our 3rd place finisher, Alexander Carver Robbins. And Jimmy, why don't you go ahead and start with the interview with him?
Hey, Alex, Jimmy, and Carl up in the booth. Copy?
Yes, sir. Nice to meet you.
Hey, nice to meet you too. Hey, congratulations on the P3, as you had some early incidents that put you down, and you just had an impressive comeback as one of the faster cars on the track, and makes you think if you didn't have them incidents, would you be up there fighting with Kevin for the win?
I think so personally. I had the fastest lap of a 109.079 and multiple laps of 109.2s back to back to back. made up that 22-second deficit to third place, Matthew Prentice. So he did fight me pretty good at around lap 45. So
Yeah,
good
we
race to
were
him.
yeah, we were definitely watching there at the end as the you guys were the closest battle on the track, and you made up all that time. And there was times where I'm like, I hope he takes his time. He made all that time back. Just take your time. Just take your time and wait for that moment to get around him. And as I know, I could tell just by the way you were driving, you wanted to get around him and take that third position. But you were able to keep your cool. You kept your car under control, and were able to make that pass and grab that P3. But you definitely did a great job out there tonight. This track and car combination can be a little tricky at times, as you were part of some of those incidents, and
Yes,
a
sir.
lot of your other drivers out there around you as well, as not many were able to come unscathed to the walls of Long Beach. But definitely,
sir.
again, congratulations. Would like to give you this time to give any shout outs or thanks that you might want to do.
Yes, sir. Thank you for my teammate Sahaj. He was really on par with his driving. I did kind of wreck in the first couple laps and messed him up a little bit, but he still came out strong. Shout out to QZ Motorsports and Ginja Esports. Thank you.
And thank you as well for being here tonight. And we will let you go celebrate your third place finish with your teammates.
Thank you.
All right, that was your third place finisher, the 079 Carver Robbins. Now we will go ahead and bring in our second place finisher. We'll just make sure he's got his mic going. Sahaj, this is the booth. You got a copy?
Hey.
So it looked like you were maybe the last one standing to stay on the lead lap here. The only other car on the lead lap, as McCann did a great job out there out front, and obviously a lot of your competitors having some issues getting into the walls. And this track, especially, it looked like turn 1 and I believe it was like turn 6, were just eating everybody's lunch out there. How was it for you out there?
Yeah, I gotta say that race was something else. I was trying to run the alternates the whole way, but tire wear was making me real slow near the end of my stint, and then like 10 to go, I wasn't gonna make it on fuel, so I was just fuel saving for the entire time. But yeah, just struggle with the tires, fuel, and some lap traffic as well.
So it looked like up until maybe you got caught behind the, or maybe in the middle of the meat of the sandwich between Carver Robbins and I believe it was Kevin Foster at the time. It looked like you were starting to gain a bit on McCann. Did you feel at that point you still had a chance at the win, or were you already thinking about the fuel situation?
I was thinking about that several laps before, and I just knew I wasn't gonna make it, so I just let them let them do their thing. I'll just try and keep it clean. Worked out well.
After this race and seeing everybody having such a rough time out there, P2 has certainly P2 is always bittersweet, but it's got to feel pretty good after this one.
Yeah, especially even after last week when I took myself out.
Absolutely, yeah. So good bounce back this week. So before we let you out of here, anybody you want to send a thanks to or a shout out to?
Shout out to Alex, actually. He and I were just talking strategy the whole time in just a separate call.
Well, you guys certainly made it a good run out here, both getting on the podium. So good job out here, and we'll be talking to you hopefully pretty soon.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, that was your second place finisher, Sahaj Padiyar. As I finally remember, that's how you're supposed to pronounce it.
Sorry, I'm butchering.
I've been doing it the whole time so far this whole season. So yeah, Padiyar. All right.
Padiyar.
So now going to our winner here, Jimmy. Why don't you go ahead and take the masterclass performance here from Kevin McCann?
Hey Kevin, this is Jimmy and Carl up in the booth. You copy?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, pretty good. Hey, Kevin, you definitely put down the masterclass today as you showed your fellow drivers that how it's done, and taking home the win with an impressive 35-second lead there at the end. Or, excuse me, 37.2. How was your race for you tonight?
Pretty good. Just I had pole position, so I was, unlike my competitors there on those restarts, it's a jumbled up mess. So I just was able to get out front, have clean track, and could just run my own race. With these street courses, you're pretty much you're racing the track, not really your competitors sometimes. So I just focused on keeping that car clean, trying to take care of the tires, and watch the fuel situation. I think the fuel probably caught. I know it caught second place off guard, and I figured it out in the first stint that you were going to have to do a little fuel saving to make it the full 25 lap stint. So just focus on those things tonight. Lap traffic was really good at not racing too hard, not putting the car in spots it didn't need to be in, and kept it clean all night long. So all in all, good race. I'm happy to win here. It's my first win at Long Beach. I usually run the IMSA series here, and those are a bit of a mess sometimes. I run the LMP2 car, and with the multi-class stuff, passing here is pretty difficult. So I'm happy to get a win here, even in the Indy car.
Yeah, I mean, I've run the IMSA series here myself, and definitely have issues with passing some of the slower vehicles. And I know what you're saying there. And but again, you went out there, you did your thing, you saved fuel, you put yourself in a position to win. Obviously, track position being a vital role, as you got the pole tonight as well. So again, congratulations, Carl. You have any questions for Kevin tonight?
Just it looked like there was maybe one or two situations the entire race that the car kind of got away from you a little bit, especially going into turn one. It seemed like turn one was really the trouble spot for a lot of drivers. Did you ever feel like the car was just that much out of shape that it was a kind of a wake up call for you?
Yeah, there were a couple times. It seemed like rear tire wear was the tricky spot tonight. You definitely lost the rears before you lost the fronts, at least with my driving style and how I had the brake bias set up. So just trying to balance that. There were a couple times it was first turn and the last corner under acceleration later in the stints, the rear end would get away from you. So just having that track position the way I had it, and able to run my own race, I was really able to save the tires more than I probably would have if I'd have been under pressure. So it could have been a whole different race if somebody was close to me. I probably would have ended up in the wall maybe a couple times pushing that much harder, but fortunately brought it home tonight.
And you did a great job out there, dominating, leading every lap out there. So good job out there. Back-to-back wins, and now we head to Alabama next week in the Barber Motorsports Park. So how do you think your chances fare there, going from the street course to the actual road course?
I haven't ran a lap on that track, so that's going to be interesting. Gonna, this is a difficult car to tame, even on some of the easier tracks. So I'm gonna have to learn a new track next week, and just hope for the best.
All right, sounds good. Well, congrats on 2 wins now on the season, back-to-back wins. So you're starting the season here pretty strong, and we'll be talking to you soon.
All right, thanks, guys.
That was your winner, Kevin McCann. We'll bring in one more guy. We'll bring in our birthday boy for one more thing, one more interview here. But before we do that, the question tonight for the core subscription drive, gonna give you guys a little bit of an easy one here, and we'll ask you one of our legacy drivers here, Kevin Foster. He has the same number in core since the start of his career. Just needs to know what number that is, and if you're watching him here tonight, you know exactly what number he is. If you're a fan of him, certainly we know there's a few of you out there. You already know what number it is, but that is going to be the question for tonight. The number that Kevin Foster reps since the beginning here in core. So we will now bring in for one last time, one last interview here, and that again is going to be John Crane. And John, the race is over now. You can finally breathe. You can finally sit back. You can take your shots, take your drinks, whatever it is. you finished in the top 10. You finished in 8th. So halfway up the field. Basically, just tell us how it was out there.
It was a little rough there. Kept losing the nose a little bit, so that made it difficult.
Yes.
And then I had to use a quick repair to get it back in the shape to be able to keep running with the guys.
Yeah, it looked like we talked to a lot of the guys, and it seemed like turn 1 was certainly a rough spot out there. It didn't look like too many people had an issue other than maybe Kevin Foster out of that hairpin. And to me, that's one of the toughest corners on this track, because if you miss it at all, it could just be a really, really slow corner. You can even be as bad as needed to basically stop and back up to make it around that corner. How was the hairpin there tonight?
I thought the hairpin was fine. As long as you set yourself up just right, you can roll right through that hairpin, and it's really not a problem until you go back to throttle. Just gotta be careful you don't whiskey throttle it and put yourself backwards on the front stretch.
Yeah, there's definitely a couple of those moments, but early in the race, though, you did manage to. You were sitting there P2 for a while, and looked like you just kind of need to, hold on to your race car, and obviously it stepped out on you a little bit and took out your wing, but you definitely did a good job tonight overall. I mean, finishing P8, with these group of guys is not a bad feat.
No, not at all. I wish I would have made my pit stop a little sooner. That way I gave myself a little more recovery time. But all in all, we had a good race tonight.
Absolutely, a good job out there, and we'll let you finish up and celebrate your birthday, and maybe take the crew out there to the fountain, since this is pretty much gonna be your home race, since iRacing doesn't have Portland out here yet. So this is probably your home race for the IndyCar series for sure. So good job out there, good P8, and we'll be talking to you soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you, CRN crew.
That was your 8th place finisher, our in-race reporter here tonight, the birthday boy, John Crane. So, Jimmy, I mean, no surprise, just another street course, another track that just, loves to just bite you any chance it gets. We said how many times turn 1 was a big victimizer, but really the entire track was grabbing people, tire barriers, the regular walls themselves. It was just a rough race out there.
Yeah, it's definitely a rough race out there, especially with these open tire cars, and you take any kind of damage, as you could tell, you're losing wing, losing a tire, and you have to bring it in the pits. As much as we want to be professional drivers out here, and this is the closest thing we got to it, this game or simulator, it's realistic in many ways, and some ways not, but definitely, when your car's damaged, you got to bring it in and get it fixed. So you just got to put the time in at each of these tracks and learn them well, and just know how to take the corner and when it's coming up, and it's a lot of memory and knowledge, of the course itself. But these guys did a pretty good job out there. Some a little better than others. Again, congratulations to Kevin McCann for winning, Pat Ear for the 2nd place, and Carver Robbins for finishing P3. Matthew Prentice with a solid P4, and Avi Vishwavasan round out your top 5.
So stay tuned the rest of the week here and in CRN, as this is pretty much road week here for all the course series, as Premier Series kicked off last night with a road course race at the Nürburgring. Tonight, obviously, Long Beach. The trucks on Tuesday, Xfinity on Wednesday, and the Cup on Friday will all be racing at Watkins Glen this week. So that'll be a bit of a challenge for those guys as well. And smack dab in the middle there, the Vintage Series on an oval, but the dirt variety, as they head to Eldora, and that'll certainly be a good one. We'll see some of the dirt track specialists out there. That'll be me and Jimmy's next time in the booth on Thursday night. Dylan will be joining you guys on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. That's going to do it for myself and Jimmy here from Long Beach, California. We'll see you at the track.
Peace.